start our final session. And I would like to ask the coordinators and raconteurs to come to the front, because I'm going to ask them to join me here when the time comes. So for them to...
Porque los voy a ir llamando por turnos.
It's your decision, whatever you want. So, but I think there is something missing, and I think that all of you will appreciate it, and it is that we didn't get to introduce ourselves to the rest of the group. Maybe you got to know the people in your group, but you didn't get to know everyone else. Maybe sometimes during the coffee breaks, or maybe during dinner or lunches, but I think this is the moment. We are going to take just 10 or 15 minutes to stand up and introduce ourselves. Just 10 minutes, just to tell who you are and where you come from. Okay, so from the back to the front. Paolo, please stand. And please, I'm going to give you a microphone. Is it possible to have a microphone? Wait a minute, I'm going to ask for a microphone. I don't know where the guy is. ¿Dónde está la persona de... ¿Puedes darme un micrófono, por favor? I do have a strong voice.
Hi everyone, my name is Paulo Ivan. I'm from Madeira, Portugal. I represent the Royal Forest of Madeira. Hello, Simon Barnes from Menorca Island, Menorca Talayotic.
Thank you. Luis, español si quieres.
Español. Miguel Cañeras, Sierra de Tramontana, Mallorca. Bauer de Pia from a small town in Slovenia. I think that is ICN. Nicolas Cour, Deputy Manager of Famille Royale in France.
Hello, I'm Marie of Cortes. I'm from France, the Episcopal City of Albi.
Hola, buenas tardes. Soy Josep Bernales, Sierra de Tramontana, Mallorca.
Hola, buenas tardes. Soy Elena Parajo de Santiago.
Parajos from Santiago, from the world of Lugo, in Spain.
Some people don't know where our sites are, so it is important to see the country as well.
Hello, I'm Susan Bain from St Kilda, Scotland. Hello, I'm Kirk Wolders from the Netherlands, from the Dutch Water Defence Lines.
Great.
Hello, my name is Agnes Linskape, Lithuania, Kermade Archaeological Site.
Hello, Wendy Schutijn from the Netherlands, Colonies of Benevolence.
Hello, I'm Caroline. I'm from Belgium. I'm representing the UNESCO Beach Forests.
Hola, soy Ana Santoro, Torre de Hércules, A Coruña, Galicia, noroeste de España.
From the Tower of Hércules.
Hola a todas, soy Marta Uriarte, de Vizcaya, en País Vasco,
from Bilbao. From Bilbao.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I'm from the Roskilde Cathedral in Denmark. Hello, my name is Lucia from Slovakia, and I represent a small village in mountainous area, typical medieval wooden wooden houses.
Country? Which country? Slovakia. Sorry, I didn't get it.
Hola, my name is Ingeborg Riedel. I'm from Austria, representing the cultural landscape Wachau.
Hello, I'm Michał Krasuski from Poland, from the city of Warsaw.
Hello, my name is Jan Vini. I come from Switzerland, from Watchmaking Town.
Hi everyone, I'm Cécile Olive Garcia. I'm from France, from a World Heritage Site named Chaîne des Puits and Newmanford. Hello, Susana Simon, Andorra.
Hello, my name is Marlene and I come from Germany, from German UNESCO Commission in Bonn.
Hello, my name is Marcela Kretko. I come from Bratislava, Slovakia.
Hola, I'm Matthias and I am from a Viking Age site in the north of Germany.
Hola, soy Mariela Andonegui y vengo de los monasterios de San Millán de Sosolluso, La Rioja, España.
Monastery in La Rioja. Good afternoon, Hello Martinez. I'm from here, from Spain, but representing ECOMOS in the meeting. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole from ICRO.
I'm Carlo from Italy, World Heritage Italian Association, but Historic Center of Florence. Sorry, Valentina.
Hello, I'm Valentina Ippolito from the Historic Center of Florence, Italy.
Good afternoon, my name is Tony Crouch. I'm from the city of Bath in England as part of the Great Spa Towns of Europe.
Hello, I'm Tatiana from Idrija, Slovenia, and its transnational serial World Heritage Site, Idrija and Spanish Almaden. Hola, I'm Ang Ming Chi. I'm from Malaysia. I'm from the Malacca and Jashan historic cities of the Strait of Malacca.
Hello, my name is Zuzana Stejskova. I am from Mariánska Lázně or Marienbad, Czech Republic, representing the Great Spa Towns of Europe.
Hello, my name is Pavel Bezouška. I am from Czech Republic too, from historical town in Kutná.
Hello, I'm Juliana Strogan from Norway, Rjukanotodden Industrial Heritage Site.
Hola, soy Amelia, Alhambra. I come from the Alhambra in Granada, in Spain. Hello, good afternoon. My name is José Carlos Avila from the Department of Gardens of the Alhambra in Granada, in Spain. Hello, Javier Sánchez, also from the Service of Gardens and Forests in the Alhambra here in Granada. Hola, mi nombre es Federica, vengo de
Bologna, Italy.
Hola, soy Laura del Ministerio de Cultura.
From the Ministry of Culture in Spain. Hello, me llamo Stephanie Fine. Vengo en representación de la Universidad de Granada. Estoy haciendo mi tesis aquí sobre sitios patrimoniales en España. Mi nombre es Ricardo Rodríguez. Vengo de Guimarães, del sitio patrimonial del Centro Histórico de Guimarães, en Portugal. My name is Esther Cruz, the director of the General India's Archive in Seville, in Spain. Hola, mi nombre es
WHUK and a man of many parts and places.
Buenas tardes, José María Ochema Lanzarote.
José María Ochema Lanzarote from the Ministry of Culture of the Spanish government.
I come from France, National Association.
Well, I'm the last one. I'm the last guy. So, Einar Sæmundsen, I come from Thingvellir, the National Park in Iceland, but I also represent the Nordic World Heritage Association.
Good. So thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much. I think it was worth just taking some minutes for everybody to know where we come from. Yes? And now I think it is time to let the rest of the group know what we've been doing. Estaba diciendo que, bueno, merecía la pena dedicar unos minutos para que sepamos todos de dónde venimos, ¿verdad? Y para, bueno, una vez que ya nos hemos presentado, aunque ya algunos de nosotros nos conocíamos, dar ahora sí paso a las conclusiones que los diferentes grupos han sacado sobre en las diferentes sesiones de trabajo.
Regarding the topics you've been discussing. Bueno, vamos a pasar a las conclusiones.
Working together during 5 sessions, well, this is the 5th, and let's start with group number 1. You will be the one in charge of presenting the conclusions, Chris, so please, come sit. Now, both? Okay. So you can sit over there. Yes. Please, take a seat over there, and you will have your time for your conclusions. Thank you.
Okay, just before I describe, or we describe the conclusions, I just wanted to remind you, Group 1, that their topic was World Heritage Site Manager roles and mandate. That was the discussion, and the group had within it Tony Crouch, the City of Bath, Mikhail Krasuki, Warsaw, Pavel Bezuska, Czech Republic, Juliana Strogan from Norway, Johan Wilwelis from Le Chaux de Fonds City in Switzerland, Federica Legnani, Porticos of Bologna, Matthias Malik, Archaeological Complex of Hedeby and Daneverke, Germany, Victoria Trasubares, Muhajar Architecture, thank you for that, of Aragon, and Marlene Meissner from the German Commission. So that was the group, and Ang was very efficient in keeping the notes while we talked endlessly, and I hope has summarized pretty much in a very short number of points what we came up with. So she's going to set those out for you, and if anybody wants to disagree or ask questions, then we're of course happy to do that. Thanks for you.
Yep, thank you. So I'm here to represent the groups to share with you our outcomes. Number 1, for us, on the roles and mandates of the site managers, keep it simple. Please, it is important for site managers to focus on conserving of the OUV, site maintenance, address to the needs of the local community, visitors management, and more importantly, site managers also is the very important ambassadors to the original mission of UNESCO. We are the peace ambassador. There are actually a lot of expectations and also given assignments to the site managers, for example, periodic reportings, heritage impact assessments, surveys, and so on. Our discussion also come out with, like, too much of this can be overwhelming and sometimes it's distractive, because less actually can be more. So we would like to propose that sometimes do please enable the site managers to select whatever that we want or we need. Full stop. The second point is site managers is also a decision maker for the site. And this can be done so through 2 ways. Number 1 is the statutory power, or plus soft power. So I would like to focus on statutory power. Statutory power will enable site managers to provide, for example, permits to conduct certain activities or conservation works. And this actually enabling the site managers to be very efficient on the site management. But at the same time, you need a soft powers to make this work. This involving, playing a political role, establish connections with key stakeholders and right holders, decision makers, and so that we can influence law making, provide politicians with legal draft, for example, or bridge communication between these stakeholders and power holders. I think more importantly, what we try to engage is the end game, the intention is important. Whatever that we are doing now is ultimately is to find solutions best for the site. The third point is we would like to invite you to look into the local level. Site managers at the local level also involve working with the young generations and also encouraging volunteer movements. And I would like to bracket over here. This volunteer movements is beyond age groups, professional trainings, or skills between the skills and to address different groups of communities. Therefore, volunteer can also be a tool to reach common good for the site. Point number 4, just now we were at the local, now we are going global. At the global level, site managers actually also advocates for sustainable development, issues like climate change. So site can be a learning space for young people, and we also actually working directly on the synergization of conventions. You know, there's a lot of different conventions, and actually it involves the site managers. Our discussion brings us that, you know, view from outside is important to see inside, in particularly when we attend international activities as such, you know, forums or capacity buildings. Listening to other sites can actually empower internally to our own work when we go back to our own sites. So therefore, it is important. And we also would like to propose that definition of a site managers is necessary and urgently need to be addressed, because by establishing this definition, which might vary from site to site and might also involve different hierarchy from the site level, regional level, or the national or central level, because we need to identify the competencies needed, the capacity needed, and the resources needed by the site manager. So definition is very important. Then last but not least, being a site manager is actually a very rewarding career, but you need to get the right person for the job, and sometimes you often it needs a combined set of skills, and you do need a mini team to work on that, and ideally a transdisciplinary team, collective roles to help us to deliver our duties, our roles and mandate efficiently. We would like to end the whole discussion by saying that, you know, the work of the site managers reserve the recognitions, because site managers often act as a peace ambassador for UNESCO and everyone else. That's all my report. Thank you. So I know that due to the time, we open for questions if there's any.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Is there anybody that is willing to ask or to add something to what Ang and Chris with their group have worked about? Or maybe explain something? Maybe even the very members of the group can add something if they wish. So if you want to just stand up, and we will give you the microphone for the translation. By the way, this is being translated into Spanish, and then when we speak Spanish into English. So if you need a headphone, just please ask for it. Everybody has headphones? None of you have? So, oh my God. Okay. Okay. I will check that now. Bueno, pues entonces lo hablo yo también en español y así traduzco todo. ¿No? Give it to them anyway. I'm sorry. Estaba diciendo que si alguien del grupo quiere añadir.
Well, I was just saying that if you want to say something, if you're a member of the group or just somebody from the audience, and, well, everything has been translated actually, but nobody listened to it, So for the people who speak in Spanish, I will ask later to the hostesses, because I think people need headphones, please. So I'm just read a number of conclusion points. So first of all, try to make it simple in the role of site managers. Keep it simple means let's do it the easiest way. Let's focus on the OUVs, on the conservation of the sites, on the needs of local communities, on the management of visitors. And always trying to keep in mind the original roles of site managers according to the convention. There are huge expectations and assignments such as periodic reporting, assessments, so many tasks, surveys, many things, and sometimes it is a little bit overwhelming, the role of managers. And sometimes in our day-to-day work, it can't even be too much, or it can distract us from our main mission. Sometimes we have too much work. So they are suggesting to make it easier from the site managers, and also to allow them to decide what they want to do and what they can't do with the means they have, because they can't do everything, right? For the second point, it is about the fact that site managers are people making decisions, right? They are decision makers. And so they propose two options. First of all, a kind of decision-making capacity related to statutory powers or authorizations. For instance, the need to ask, or the requirement for asking for permits or things like that. But they also might have soft powers. They are claiming to have soft powers in order to carry out day-to-day activities and make decisions on a daily basis. Sometimes site managers are just the key person in order to ensure the coordination with the different levels. Sometimes they play an intermediate role, not only in the decision-making process, but also in the drafting of laws even. And finally, it is also a way to find solutions for the sites themselves. And at the local level, we need to highlight that the action of site managers the role of site managers involve working with young communities and also with volunteers that should be engaged in the conservation of world sites, world heritage. And in the fourth point is about the role of managers in the creation of a global network. Here, they are advocating for more consideration to the climate change factors, and they also suggest the need to create international learning spaces such as the one we are in today. They propose a definition of what a site manager is. That is very important and needed, much needed. And in the end, they say that our role, our work is really rewarding, because it is a role associated to many privileges and advantages, and we work in some of the most wonderful places in the world. So we are very lucky to be site managers. It is all about creating a profile of site managers that can combine transdisciplinary skills, and also they propose to create transdisciplinary teams in order to fulfill all the expectations and functions needed. Well, this is the synthesis. I'm very sorry for the Spanish-speaking audience. So, do you have the headsets now? Not yet? All right. So, now I'm calling for the second group. Chema, right? And I'm going to ask for the headphones because it makes no sense to translate if nobody's listening. So if you give me just 1 minute.
I would go outside to see why nobody has given you the headphones for you to be able to understand both English and Spanish when spoken, okay? Just 1 minute. To see what's going on. If not, I will translate. You want to say anything?
Should we go back?
Yeah, we go back.
Done? Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello?
Maybe I think the control is from there, maybe?
I think it's on.
It's on?
Yeah, yeah. I just couldn't see that.
Sí. Es mejor tener el micro a la voz que mirando para allá. Vale, perfecto. Es que aún no hemos empezado por eso. Vale, por comentar entre nosotros. Sí, y tú hablas en inglés.
Sí, sí.
So I think we are ready now. You're going to be given, sorry for that.
No problem.
You are going to be given both the headphones and this small device. You have to connect to listen to the translation. I don't know about the channels. Chicas, channel 1, you have to stick to channel 1, ¿ok? Tenéis que poner el canal 1 para la traducción en español y en inglés.
For the translation both into English and into Spanish. And something very, very, very important. Please pay attention. You cannot leave this room without giving back the headset, right? So please don't forget to give it back. It is we usually leave the room and we can forget, and we are now having all the headsets without leaving our IDs, right? Usually we are asked to give an ID to get a headset. So please do not forget to leave them before you go. Yeah.
Saying that we are going to be given a small device and some headphones, and I beg you please not to leave the room without giving it back when we leave. It is very important, okay, because normally you are asked for your ID to be given this device, and just for a matter of time we are not going to ask you for that. So I just trust you to be responsible and give the device back when out of the room, please. Thank you. So, Rafa,
En 0, ¿empiezo entonces?
I think so. ¿Podemos empezar? Can we start? ¿Ya lo tiene todo el mundo?
As the headsets, yeah? Everyone, yeah?
Not yet?
Not.
You need Spanish.
That one.
He's going to speak Spanish. So there is some people here. Pilar, por aquí.
Tengo 7 minutos. 6:30.
6 minutes and a half. All right.
¿Qué canal?
Channel number 1. Channel number 1, please, for everyone. All right, so can everyone now follow the translation? Yes? Well, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your patience, because these technical problems, yeah, we live, right? So these are common problems. As you have seen, we've been really greatly hosted here in the Alhambra, so this is just a very, very small detail. I really liked the presentation by Anne yesterday, the slide where she showed the story of the 3 blind men that approach the elephant from different points, and they discover different elements, and they create this wrong idea because they're lacking this overview, or this general overview, this general vision. And I think this is more or less the situation in our group. We have approached this topic about challenges and threats of climate change. We are group number 2, and we have focused on different aspects. So these conclusions are more a synthesis about the contributions of the different members of the group. We had 11 presentations, and as I was just telling them, I really appreciate that they didn't limit it to 6-7 minutes, because this allowed us to discover many other aspects in our discussion, right? So it was good to be longer, actually. In our presentation, or in our group, in our discussion, we had presentations mostly about research in the field of climate change. That was the case of the presentations by Rosa Ruiz or Elena Badajoz, a very interesting couple, because both of them were talking about World Heritage Sites that were walls in cities, and the challenges that they face in terms of conservation, renovation, and all that. And also the overlapping of different protection categories that leads to other problems as well. We have protections, natural protections related to Apus apis, a very particular kind of bird that is protected and that can give place to different problems in terms of conservation. Something was said by Nicole or maybe by Alfred, I don't remember, but at the end of the day, the heritage sites are also ecosystems, right, with different entities living together. And I also found very interesting the presentation by Marta López Quevedo with the presentation of the Disco Caído on the list of indicators used to monitor the different factors that can have an impact on the degradation of the site in the landscape. And in other cases, presentations were more focused on the management. I mean, research at the service of management. That was the case of Javier Sanchez, our host in the Alhambra, with many big titles like Searching for Natural Solutions. I really like that. the title of one of his slides, and he talked about efficient planning, how they work with irrigation, for instance. A very interesting insight. They have key data. They have like a keynote for every one of the different trees of the whole Generalif complex ensemble, right? So this is very detailed data management. Also, he told us about fire protection as well, which is one of the risks in one of the threats in Menorca. That was the last presentation in the afternoon by Simon Bornes. He talked us about the green coverage that has grown in many places if we compare images from the 50s with images from today. So because there have been many changes in the use of land and many other factors like different farming activities, and also with the increase of temperatures, and this is a threat that is growing as well, increasingly. And then there's also the presentation by Beatriz Diosdado from Salamanca, and I really liked this presentation because they manage funds in a very smart way. So she told us how could we find some more funds here and there in order to foster a project of, for the improvement of biodiversity, and also to improve the quality of life of citizens. And I think this focus on citizens was very interesting as well. And regarding the presentation of Bernales from the cultural landscape of Sierra de Tramontana, the problem was once again water management, but also the impacts of this natural extreme events like floods or squalls that had a very bad impact on the olive trees and also on the landscape. And much more dramatic was the example by Teresa Caetano from the cultural landscape from Sintra, who told us about a storm in March 2025, very recently, that affected a very important forest area with terrible consequences that have been made even worse because there have been an introduction of certain species that had implications, negative implications, and that come from past decisions that were not very good. And I also liked the presentation about the bridge of Vizcaya and how it shows the result of the work of many years, many generations working to improve this site. And they say that they were living together, always looking at the sky, always looking at the weather, because the weather was so important. And apparently that this was a vision from the past, but I think we are now looking at the sky again. And finally, well, I still have two presentations to mention. There was one by Aurora Villalobos, who gave us the framework because she talked about sustainability in very general terms with some examples around archaeological ensembles in Andalusia, for instance, Antequera, Medina Zahara, and also the measurement projects that are being carried out regarding climate change. And yesterday, Marco from Ribera Sacra, which is not a World Heritage Site, is a candidate. It's nominated, and he taught us about the wine growing and landscape and many implications on those fields. And I think we have, from this wrap-up, we have already listened to the key words, right? We have this pink elephant in the room that is always there, and we don't dare to look at it I think it has been a very smart decision to create a group for this topic in this first forum in this first European Forum of World Heritage Site Managers. And I think Alfred can complete. Bueno, por mi parte.
Group and for your patience with us as we navigated this across language barriers. I was struck by a couple of things: the recurrence of certain topics like invasive species and adaptive capacity of different plant species. I was struck by the complexity of things. So you have different reasons for the cultivation of different plant species in places like here in the Alhambra. And then you have sort of farm abandonment leading to revegetation in other places. And the push-pull of these things reminds us that we're looking at these heritage sites at one moment in a very, very long history. And so much has evolved, and many of these sites to this point. And so thinking about how things will change on a variety of fronts amid climate change will be really important to develop those adaptive strategies. But that was a very comprehensive review, so thank you, Chairman. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
So now it's time for maybe some answers. There are some questions of both the participants in the group, if you want to add something, or questions from the rest of the participants, if they wish. Is there, if any? Not really? Okay. So thank you very much, Yuval, and let's give the floor to Anna and Celia from the group of Sustainable Tourism Opportunities, please. They have already, ya no me acuerdo en qué idioma hablar. Han hecho un documento y lo han podido escribir, con lo cual yo creo que ayuda.
So I think it would be very useful if you had the opportunity to read it on screen. So Celia is going to show it. So at the same time that they are telling it to you, you're going to be able to follow it, to read it. It's in Spanish, but it's fine. But she's going to read it in English. I can translate it. Yeah. All right. I have it here. I have it here, actually. Okay. Well, I'm going to start just by giving an overview about our work, right? And then we'll share the conclusions. Our commission has been discussing about sustainable tourism opportunities, and it has been really interesting. We have devoted a lot of time to this discussion, but we have respected the agenda as well. So, Maria, and it has been a very participatory work. We have had the opportunity to share the experiences from different sites, and I was in charge of taking notes, and for me it was very easy because all this task has been carried out in a very participatory way. And we've come to some interesting conclusions and about some aspects that are not always dealt with, such as the carrying capacity, for instance, in our sites, and other factors related to governance that Delia is going to share with you. Well, I have to admit that the participation in this forum during all the time has been just great privilege. I have enjoyed it so much. It is always the case, but here particularly in this occasion, I am very, very happy to have had this opportunity to discuss sustainable tourism with people who really know what's happening on site, on the ground, right? So I am really grateful to this, to the group. We have discussed very well. We've had, small fights. We also fought a little bit. I can't. It's okay because I have it in the stick, so it's fine. I have it. Yeah, she sent it to me, so I have it. It's fine. I will translate. Anyway, it's very interesting that we have discussed, we fought a little bit as well, and we laughed a lot. So thank you so much for that.
Conclusion, and then we have added to this some important input and even novelties that we have discovered in our group. And the general conclusion is the importance for achieving sustainable tourism, or for trying to have sustainable tourism, is the usefulness of using the World Heritage System recommendations for planning sustainable tourism that are based in the responsible management of public visitation, and in particular among these tools, the World Heritage and Sustainable Tourism Programme, the VMAS, which is the Visitor Management Strategy tool which is connected to this programme, and the ICOMOS International Charter for Cultural Heritage Tourism 2022. The experience of the World Heritage Sites that we have been discussing in the sessions have, however, contributed to following specific subjects and has provided input to these recommendations and opened some new ideas that are not included in them. So we have divided in presentation and interpretation, carrying capacity, and participation and governance. Regarding the presentation and interpretation, we've been dealing with the importance of actions that contribute to various objectives to public management and sustainability. For example, using technological advancements that improve communication and make the site more sustainable. But we have also dealing with the need that these tools and the presentation and interpretation interventions are always respectful with the authenticity and the integrity of the sites. And also we have added the concept of reversible interventions, also dealing with interpretation of the site, because we talk about reversibility in restoration, but also interpretation is starting to be something in which we need to deal with that. We have also talked about the importance of doing actions that celebrate cultural diversity through immersive experiences and art, which improve interpretation and enhance the visitor experience. We have talked about educational programs that emphasize culture for all, and to using research as the basis for any interpretation activity. Also, the need to include the history of the protection of the sites and the difficulty of protecting sites as part of the interpretation and the presentation themselves. And the importance of understanding the sites in their wider context and in a systemic way, so that the planning and the management of sites are really effective. Regarding the carrying capacity, we have felt a very strong advocacy about the site managers for the need to calculate and respect the carrying capacity of the sites, but also the strong need for training and experts in this field. The carrying capacity has multiple dimensions, and it needs to be flexible, and these sessions have pointed out to two new dimensions that are scarcely highlighted even in international doctrine concerning carrying capacity. One is the well-being of the workers in heritage sites themselves as a sign and as something that needs to be also monitored, and is a sign of the carrying capacity. When sites are overcrowded, also the people that work in the site suffer, and this is something that we probably need to consider too. And also the capacity of the places in the general and wider context to welcome and to host visitors. the current capacity is not a fixed number. It needs to be modulated to see how can we allow human presence on the sites. In some places, increasing the number of visitors is important to secure sustainability of funding, but it's still essential to think about which is the current capacity of the place, because once you have promoted too much, it's very, very difficult to go back. The promotion of heritage sites, and especially World Heritage, needs therefore to be cautious. It needs to be based on heritage values themselves. It doesn't need to aim to attract mass audience, but rather interested and respectful visitors. And it's very important ensuring the diversification of funding for cultural properties so that public visits are relevant to financing the places, but are not the exclusive ways of funding our site, because then we come to the problems. This has been a very nice debate. It is important to make public all these tools that we use to calculate and to respect the current capacity of the sites, so visitors do understand that there are limitations, because these limitations are essential to protect and to preserve the sites, and not because simply we want to have a place closed or we don't want visitors to go in, which is never the truth of the situation. Regarding participation and governance, and I'll be finishing, that has been also a very interesting debate. There is no single formula. It is a tailor-made suite for each site, and even then it's very difficult to implement, because the complexity of administrative coordination and the division of power and competences is a sine qua non condition for making governance aspirations effective, but it is something which is very, very difficult to reach in most of the places which are not a single monument, but complex places that do imply several administrations, stakeholders, and so on. And even if the World Heritage System provides orientation and requirements to have coordination bodies and management plans, still the coordination we feel is very difficult. So rather than have a coordination and that to have management bodies, we need coordination bodies. It's extremely important that participation is qualified, even if it must be inclusive. A society that is educated and trained in heritage matters is necessary, so that so that participatory governance is based on an informed and responsible society regarding heritage, and anything else is demagogy. We cannot have the opinions of everybody concerning heritage if those people are not informed. So this implies awareness raising, but this implies also the importance of having the experts that know to target the sector of society whose opinion is important and is relevant for each case or for each part of the stewardship and the tourism use of the site, and also to have the experts that can channel their participation. So this was all, but I want to say thank you to the people that was in the session. So we have Nicolas Com from Arkansas, in France, Mariola Andonegui de San Millán de la Cogolla, Ana Santorum de la Torre de Hércules, Mariam Revuelta de las Médulas, y teníamos también a Susana Chescalova de las ciudades termales, Carmen Mora Mondejar de Antequera, y hemos tenido como invitados también a Esther Cruces,
as guest Esther Cruces from the India's Archive, Luis Valcarneras de Sierra de la Tramontana, and as a special guest, Maria. We've had Maria as well, and Alfred from EUCN, Laura de Miguel from the Ministry of Culture, and also Berta de Santa Maria from the UNESCO World Heritage Center. And that's all on our side. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias a las dos.
Amazing. Thank you very much to both of you. And as before, if somebody from the group or somebody from the audience wants to add something or ask something, this is the moment. No questions, so let's go with group number 4.
You have a question? Okay, just stand. Come here. Come here.
¿Tienes una pregunta? Adelante.
I didn't notice.
Es la
But you have
que
to
no me he dado
take
cuenta, pero
the
tenéis que usar
microphone
el
because otherwise
micrófono.
she cannot translate. So just please come here, Anna, just for her to be able to listen to what you're saying. There was a question. Sorry, I didn't realize you were raising your hand. Yes, please.
You were speaking Spanish.
Pero tú hablas español.
I just wanted to ask, because you were speaking about, you mentioned the dream world carrying capacity many times. And I'm just, this is a concept we are a little bit working with back home. I'm very curious to hear if you have the formula for calculating carrying capacity, or if any sites in this auditorium have calculated their carrying capacity. So, floor is yours.
Of course, but we need a microphone. ¿Necesitamos el micrófono por ahí? Sí. Gracias, thank you. Sorry, I didn't notice you were raising your hand. Sorry. I was looking.
He's just very small.
Yeah. I think that is why.
So, first, thank you very much for the question. There isn't a single formula to calculate the carrying capacity of sites, and you know that better than me for sure, because it's a very difficult way of doing. But first, because the carrying capacities has like several dimensions, you need to combine them, and then it's not fixed, it's not a number, it's rather a limit of acceptable change, which is also a methodology that is used in that. But there are a lot of World Heritage Sites that have calculated the carrying capacity. One thing is that it's difficult, one thing is that it's not possible. The Alhambra was the pioneer, I think it was the first World Heritage Site that did that study. There are a lot of academic studies, and there are less studies on a particular site, but still there are many. And I think that in this room, many places have calculated carrying capacity. During our session, 4 of the sites have did this calculation, so it is something that we have also encouraged that people, that the sites publish their strategy, because this is useful for others. But also, I would like to say that if more people is interested in this subject, which is important, we can provide also support and advice, and we would be, from e-commerce and other places, we would be very, very happy to do so.
Thank you very much. So there is the offer. If you need some advice about calculating the carrying capacity, then it's time to ask them for some help. Okay? And then you have the experience of Alhambra, like Celia said, that for sure will be quite inspiring. So now it's group number 4 has the room. So I think you'd rather have the microphone just to pass it by, maybe. So ¿el micrófono lo tenéis por ahí? Sí, lo podéis pasar porque lo van a ir. Gracias, Juan Salvador. You want to stand or you want to sit?
Sorry, just while we sort this out, to make a very brief introduction, we talked about management. We were really lucky because we had 2 great moderators, which is Tatiana and Carlo. The people you see here is Cecile, Wendy, Ricardo, Marcela, but there was also Susanna, we had Kirke, we had Rocio, and we had Marie Eve. So it was a bigger group, but as you can see, we don't do well with authority and regulations. We decided to make fellow colleagues present, but we thought it was important to get everyone to contribute to this discussion. So I immediately head over to Cecile.
Okay. Okay. So, hi everyone. So we had a lot of discussion about this notion of management plan itself, and we were wondering, first of all, if that was the right starting point, the right wording in the sense that with regard with the international values embedded in the World Heritage Status, maybe we should proceed with a more comprehensive approach based on a common vision and values, and that will give birth to guiding principles, and then that could be declined on an operational action plan, so which is the management plan. So this action plan, the management plan, has to be very effective, concrete, and pragmatic, and in that regard we go along somehow with the conclusion of the first group. It has to be simple but not too simple. It's always the balance to find. It has to be based on the reality of the site and with the management team capacity also. And last but not least, governance is crucial, both in terms of political willingness, because without that we cannot do anything, but also in terms of empowerment and capacitation with the stakeholders. And actually this is one of our own resources, meaning that sometimes we cannot do everything with the local authorities, so this is also why it's so crucial and so important to have cooperative bodies and steering committees with other actors and with representatives of the stakeholders. And in that regard, we spoke also about World Heritage projects more than only management plan, as seen as a territorial approach and a great opportunity to open up the decision-making process and the policy-making process. And so in terms of challenges, sometimes it's hard not to just react and to anticipate, and it's true that many of us were kind of frustrating with the fact that we have so much to deal with on a day-to-day basis that it's somewhat hard to have a mid-term or long-term approach and not being just reactive. But managers shouldn't be the only ones to take the responsibility. And to achieve that, we really have to put a lot of efforts also on terminology to be able to find the right words and to avoid the technocratic jargon, the UNESCO jargon, which is sometimes not very accessible. And in terms of opportunity, well, first, this is the opportunity to clarify the OUV statement and the attributes and values of the site. But if we have a broader approach, it is also the opportunity to have transdisciplinary work and to bridge new sectors and new actors. And I think you mentioned the notion of ecosystem, and this is all about it, like having a feeling, being part of a broader ecosystem. And so this is also about cooperation and making connection at a multi-scale level, both at the local, the national, and the international level.
And we have noticed three key points. The first one is that although we come from very different World Heritage Sites, most of them are inhabited places, and it's very important to reckon with that, to take that into account. Most of them, not all, but otherwise, if you want to protect the OUV, in case of development, the Heritage Impact Assessment, or EYA, is a very important key tool, and it should be integrated in project making and in phases of decision making to work well. That were our key points, and then we have some challenges concerned with that. People can see World Heritage as an obstacle for development, creating delay. It is sometimes difficult to get the right facts on the table in case of about World Heritage, in case of decision making. What are the benefits? What are the constraints? That's important to be very factual about that. And especially non-heritage actors, for them it's very important to get the right information and be able to understand it. If you expect something from them, you need to give it, in fact. And of course we had some discussion about coordination on the national level, which is sometimes difficult when there are contrary movements happening, strategies. Well, thank you. This was my part. Who takes over?
Well, I'll try to be short also. Although the title shows monitoring between strengths and weaknesses, the discussion initially was about monitoring the management plan. At a certain moment of the discussion, we were discussing the monitoring of the site and not so much monitoring the management plan. And I think that's perceptible because our worry is the site and not the management plan. And so sometimes we spend a lot of time discussing tools, and we spend less time using tools to get the objectives. And this was, for me, one of the main aspects, because some of us or some of my colleagues don't have management plan, others we have, and we underline this idea of not sticking so much on the management plan without disconsidering its importance, its relevance, but aiming to the main objectives of safeguarding, enhancing the site. At the same time, when we have a management plan, the next question is, how is it going on? So monitoring, how are you monitoring? And my answer, and most of us, our answer is, we don't keep track, we are unable, we don't have resources to keep track and a serious monitoring. Although, in most of our sites, monitoring may also mean what we do, which is to visit permanently, day-to-day, the site, and to have a subjective monitoring also of the site. So, as a key point is to underline that good indicators, as Group 1 said regarding management, better, to keep simple is better, although sometimes to keep simple is very subjective. To end the presentation of this part of this session of the discussion, underline this overwhelmed with the day-to-day management that site managers do not have time to work or plan a long time. We do too much, and it's very difficult to keep track of the management plan. At some point, we don't know if we have the clear responsibility of doing it, if it's our task or not. And in all the cases, in all of our cases, we lack accessibility to data, tourism, visitors. Well, in our case, in my case, and some of us, we are talking about cities and not about a monument where you keep track of entrance and who goes in and who goes out. So difficulty to have access to data, and then difficulty to collecting data and to use it in a conscient manner. At last, in our case, we have a management plan, 2021-2026. we are now in need to update and revise the plan, and this idea of monitoring of the success or unsuccess of monitoring may represent a big deal to inform the updating and the new form of the future management plan. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Okay, hello. I have very easy last slide concerning how do we use the UNESCO logo and emblem. So the general conclusion is that the usage is very diverse. We discussed among us that in some of our countries the logo and the emblem is very recognized, and it's really an opportunity to use it. But for example, in my country, we use more with the text explanation, we use more text, and also we explain that when it was inscribed and within this context and so on. Then we see that there are a lot of varieties, multiple ways of using logo or the emblem, and so we conclude that if you have any dilemma how to use it or which one, it's the best way is to contact the focal point or the national committee. And of course, the usage of the logo brings us a lot of opportunities in the sense of underlining or developing the belongings, the feeling of belonging or pride for a local community that they are part of this specific and very valuable place. So, and I think I can finish here. Thank you very much. You see, we did it in this participatory way. It took a longer time, but we really enjoyed it. Thank you.
And then, yes, this is working. Great. And then last but not least, the fifth group about communication, building bridges. Chloe and Einar, whenever you...
Yes, we are sure you are all waiting for the things we are going to say.
You see it all? No. Is it expanded?
No. Yeah?
Is it okay? Is it not full screen?
But you get super points for the picture.
I don't know what to do. Mass Heremite. It's all in Spanish. Where is full screen? Where? This is all in Spanish.
This one.
Okay. Could have told me that already.
Can I just say a personal remark? No, sorry, but in fact, I'm wondering if it was a good idea to organize a group on communication only, because we all listened to your presentations, and in fact, you all talked about communication, because communication is a very transversal topic. So, I mean, we see that you all talk about the need to transmit the OUV, to explain what your site is, and you even talked about the emblems. So, well, that's maybe next time we should talk about communication through the other management issues.
Yeah, I was just gonna say almost the same remark about, because there has. So I was just gonna say the same thing, that this is a theme that runs through everything about good management. It's communication. So, just about our group, we were 12 people,
coming from 12 different countries and 12 different sites. And we were are we going to have them stand up here? Or if you want to come up, no, I can see nothing. No, okay, they are out. They maybe stand up so you can see who are in the group. If you stand up, who are in the group? So very quickly you can wave and do like the Queen, you know. Chloe, we prepared a small Mentimeter, and it was quite an interesting mix of sites that were represented in the group. Everything from a single monument to a city historic center or a cultural landscape, extended property, serial property, and natural mixed property. And then there was the dedication to the work of the group. They were within a management structure. They were in a World Heritage department within a larger entity, or in a structure or service not specific to World Heritage. And that was actually almost the majority of the group, which is interesting as well. And here are the titles of the different persons on the group, so you can see there are, those who were drawn into the communication group, they come from different channels. They were working full-time, a few of them, but most of them part-time on World Heritage. And it's a question how we define when you work on World Heritage. Basically, when you are tendering to a site that is World Heritage, you are always working on World Heritage. So I would have always said I'm working, everyone is, if you are in a World Heritage site, you must be. And then it's the teamwork. There are some who are totally alone, but most of us are part of a team.
But not desperate.
No, and those who were, we can say they were not desperate. They were very happy about being alone. So, the expectations from the group, the keywords, learn, networking, suggestions and networking, meeting and networking, and learn from colleagues. Learn new things and you get new contacts, and brainstorming, networking to see what others are doing, and networking on a European scale and to find best practice examples. So there is the kind of also another point to the group that, so this was, I'm not going to dwell much on this one.
Thank you to the participants of the group, because the group was very kind and very eager to participate, even if it was not their first choice.
Yeah, they were drawn into this group, so they were kind of like, But anyway, our sub-themes that were defined, there was the communication. There was basically the strapline for the concept or for this workshop was communication, the awareness raising, and interpretation as a lever for managing World Heritage properties. And how can we make the OUV accessible, focus on raising awareness among young people, and making the manager's voice heard, and facilitate communication between the managers, state parties, the advisory bodies, and UNESCO. So there were a lot of, it's basically communication in all its glory, from internally to externally, and everything you can put into communication. So lessons we know. This was somewhat, the point that we wanted to come to now. So from the group, it was obvious with 12 people, 12 different sites, that there were various different backgrounds, but there were different resources and different backgrounds, but, common issues. And the group identified both different ways, but as someone stated, that this was still a very common methodology that everyone is using for the communication. And what we also covered was the internal and external communication. When we define that, it's more the internal is with the stakeholders and the governance bodies and those who part of the management structure, and maybe the external is more the users, the end users, the visitors, and etc., those who are trying to engage. And there were many great examples that were highlighted during the talks on when we were telling the site, and I think where is our friend from Spain? He from that was yeah.
Are you looking for Miguelan?
Yeah, Miguelan. Where is he? Is he not in the crowd?
Gonzalo?
Yeah, there was we had excellent examples from all over of very different kinds, but there was we admired very much him and his friend Miguelan. There's a person, he is an alter ego that he has on X. There's some Neanderthal person or that speaks on X. You can find him on X. But it was basically to highlight the range of ways of engage with the different audience, and they did do an excellent job on trying to talk to the youth. But because we all know that the youth today walks around with a cell phone in hand and is kind of drawn to that, so you need to work very specifically with them, and they are doing a great job. But one thing we noted was that that communication was and the interpretation was not necessarily a big part of the management plan. And we noted that, in some there were just short chapters in each site's management plan. So there was, we stressed that later in the conclusion that it should maybe be, people should go back and look at the management plan, because a good communication is a key to good site management. And it is really important to use to safeguard heritage. So lessons, and this is what I was just stating, communication must be an integral part of the management plan. And this is another lesson we learned, that work heritage sites, or the managers in this group, and we could imagine that we reflected a good group. They work with different tools and methods, but often lack more resources to pull things through. There are many things that we want to do better, or to do more of, and often it's funding. And there was a talk of that maybe a future network could be have a working group to encourage managers to share best practices in communication and interpretation. So the needs, we would like to continue learning from each other and mutualize experiences and resources. We would like to see the promoting of better understanding of the fundamental principles of World Heritage Convention amongst the different stakeholders, the local governments and national institutions and lawmakers and etc. And then you could always improve managers' communication skills. And then there is always the need for funding and resources and increasing skills and knowledge on fundraising, which is, something that comes back. So, finally, I think it's the final slide.
It is.
It is? Really? Okay, good. So the proposals, I think just keep us simple, keep in touch through an easy to, the group was really adamant about keeping in touch, create a small working group that could slowly expand online, just as simplest would be a Facebook group or any kind of a platform where we could hook up. And a great idea came forth about a project review to share initiatives with different projects. And then a simple way of meeting without flying across oceans and mountains would just be organizing webinars on specific topics to learn from each other. And we all know what COVID taught us. It was to use Zoom and Teams, so it's easy to organize now. So, anything more from the board, from the chair of the chair?
Well, we all agreed on the fact that we would like to go on working together, but we need to start slowly with very easy activities. So that's why we proposed these 3 initiatives, because we all have many things to do, you said it, but I think that we could really do something quite rapidly, especially because we realized that there are many skills in the different sites that we could learn from. And for example, we talked a lot about social media and the way we could use it. And we saw that on the different sites, there are different skills. And so the webinars would be something very easy to do, because we think that it's very important for us to leave this forum with common projects. Some not too ambitious projects, but something feasible. So this is our contribution. I don't know now what the next steps are, but we would like to continue knowing each other and sharing experiences. So.
Is it okay? Yes. Oh, I beg to differ, you know? But I think your part has been not only not mentioned before, but really crucial for going on. So thank you very much for your proposals. And now I would love you to take the floor. I mean, there has been some proposals here put on the table by the group of communication, and I would love to have your impressions about the possibility of us going on working together in these feasible ways that the colleagues from the communication group have proposed us. And if you really feel like it, I mean, after all these 2.5 days that we're going to be together here, do you feel, or do you think that it is possible? Do you feel like going on kind of sharing or being in contact even online using the internet and all these tools that we have handy just to go on, and maybe in the future, I don't know, in 2 years' time or next year, I don't know, maybe it's too soon, just kind of gather together again on a presential meeting in the, let's say, the second forum, European Forum for World Heritage Managers, and yeah, but bringing something already done during this time is not just to stop, not to stop today, but to be able to make kind of a follow-up till the next time we are able to meet. What do you think about it? Great that you are willing to participate now.
I hope it works. Thanks, Maria. Thanks for the last presentation. I really appreciate the idea of the platform. I think it should be the final result, one of the easiest and the fastest results of this forum, which can be even achieved today, actually. My proposal is, maybe some art, is not to making it on Facebook, because there are some people who haven't got social media, but WhatsApp probably is the best way as for the beginning. We can start it right now, and really appreciate the idea.
Thank you. Chris here wants to add something. Here, down here. Aquí abajo, perdón.
Yeah, is that working? Yep, okay. So I too want to add my thanks to Maria for organising all of this and all of the teams for the work they've done.
There you go. That is the evidence for what a wonderful job she's done, and thank you all for doing that, and from our hearts, Maria. So, okay, so I'll stop embarrassing you now, colleague and friend, and try to focus my mind on what's happened in the last couple of days. So obviously, I was only part of one of the working groups, and it was really helpful to hear what others were doing. So I think my proposal is, because there is such a mixed batch of thoughts and material here, and because right at the beginning, it may have been me, it may have been someone else, we said it would be good to be building on what had started in Georgetown by way of where should site managers go and how could they increase their influence and their visibility and so on. I would propose that those who were representing the groups as both raconteurs and coordinators gather together the concluding comments that have just been made, which is relatively easy because much of it's written down, put some thought into that and see if we can turn some of that into a statement that comes from all of us as a conclusion to this forum. Because the subject matter is very mixed indeed, but if we cut through that a little bit and try to interpret what everybody said into a relatively short statement, I think that's what should come out of this. So my proposal is, and I know it's a little onerous for those who have been the coordinators and raconteurs, it's not something everybody can do. However, it can be circulated for ideas and thoughts by everybody, because we want to be entirely inclusive. And I think that would then set the stage for another session in whatever, a year's time, 2 years' time, and perhaps help create an agenda. So that's my thought as a way to go.
True. In fact, I was about to ask, because as you may know from the email I sent you about the format of the forum, that we expect a final outcome, kind of a chart or a final document of conclusions, just gathering all the conclusions that all the groups have finally made out of the discussions, and to gather them all together in a unique document as the final outcome of this first forum. So yes, the means is exactly what you said. I mean, coordinators and raconteurs can write down, maybe rethinking about all the notes that you've taken or all the presentations you've made here now for everybody to know what you've been working about during these sessions. But afterwards you can write down something like 1 sheet and a half, no more, just to have a balanced document regarding the 5 topics we have addressed during these days, and then we can have kind of a chart that we will spread through by email for you to have a look, just to check if you want to add something or whatever. And finally, we will upload it in our website of the forum, just to be available for everybody. And then with the proposal that we have, and that has perfectly explained, that Chris has perfectly explained, and then the proposals that the group of communication has put on the table, and maybe we have your contact data now, so we can, from the associations in Europe, we can start thinking on maybe some online proposals until the time to meet personally again comes, hopefully, and then we will see how to work through the next time we have the occasion to meet. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
And I think it's a wonderful idea, and especially something that it can be workable and we can scale it. And we would be absolutely thrilled and honored if you can call it something like the Declaration of the Alhambra, or you can have the Alhambra name somewhere just to mark this momentous occasion.
Alhambra will be always there. Yes.
So then again, in 21, 25, 100 years from now, they will remember this day.
Oh, for sure they will. Is there anyone else who want to have any comment or any new proposal, or who wants to share any thoughts or whatever? Hey, Carlo, over there.
Thank you, Maria. Really, I have my card in my neck with me. Okay, sorry, I am always. The next year I have this. Okay. Thank you so much. I think it's a good idea to have the statement. Yes, I think it's a good idea. Maybe it's possible, okay, yes, work together with email or with contact directly, rapporteur, the other colleagues involved. But I think maybe it's possible, the idea to present, yes, absolutely, yes. Alhambra Declaration, yes, okay. Statement. But I think it's very interesting to present this declaration in our meeting in October, Ljubljana.
Yes, sure.
Okay, we have the time for prepare a good documents. And yes, absolutely, the idea of communication. Unfortunately, a good idea to us with you in communication, but I have another group. The group is very interesting. The idea of management plan is a real challenge for everyone. Different vision, different opportunities. That is very interesting. A lack for this in this argument is the not have a repository with the management plan are present. Yes, obviously in the World Heritage Site, World Heritage Center dedicated one site is a management plan or other documents. I think it's for our country, for our association, to have a repository of management plan and sharing with the colleagues in European
level.
Yes, European level. Good. Why not?
That's true.
Maybe it's not very complicated, but no, yes, it's complicated. But maybe it's possible to improve this data because it's I think it's very strategic for everyone. Okay.
So from what Carlo is saying, I want to ask you now, because this is something that you need to authorize us to use your contact data.
Yeah.
So do you all agree that the European network of associations share among them your data just in this scope, no longer than that, because I understand that you want to preserve your own contact data, but within the European Associations network, do you agree that we share your contact data? Everybody? Okay. Okay. But I am talking within the European associations, so yeah, because we are talking with this within this scope. Okay. So you. Yes. Okay. So, regarding dissemination, I want to add something. In 3 weeks' time, we are having a national meeting here in Spain of site managers. We have, as you know, 50 World Heritage Sites in Spain. And on a yearly basis, the Ministry of Culture of Spain gathers all together, and I want to announce that the results of this forum are going to be shared among all the Spanish managers. Not all of them have been able to be here, but the Ministry of Culture of Spain has considered it very important for me to share the results of this first forum in the in the Spanish forum or encounter of site managers. So that will be the very first measure of dissemination of what we have done here these days. And the second thing I want to share about dissemination is that also you may know that Mondia Cult is going to be celebrated here in Spain, in Barcelona, in September. This is a worldwide gathering of the ministries of culture all around the world, and they are having a very huge event in which the first European Forum of World Heritage Site Managers will have a corner. I mean, I am going also, I'm happy to announce that also the results of this forum are going to be shared in that platform. So in a way, we are not only worked for us, for our benefit, but the results are also to be spread worldwide in Mondia Cult. It's something I think that it's amazing, I think, to have the chance to be able to share what we've done all around the world.
Hola, as the only Asian face here is happy to be here. I'm now still jet lagged. I would like to thank and congratulate everyone and good luck with the declaration, Alhambra declaration. All the best for that. Although I'm one of the team members from Group 1, but we'll try our best. And I think it's really amazing of being here. It's unreal for me. It's surreal to meet all of us over here. And although we think that we are very far apart, but we share so many similarities and the problems. So yeah, we are the brother and sister of the site managers, as what I presented yesterday. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to do the second edition of the We Are Site Managers in Sao Lento, August. So I will also be bringing some of the experience learned, what we have learned over here, and the inspirations that I have get from everyone here to our brother and sister in Indonesia. And I'm not sure who's going to be there, but some Indonesians colleagues will be there, and myself and our team will go there, and you are absolutely welcome. If you can go there, find your way there, we will feed you and give you a hotel to stay. But definitely, I think as site managers, you know, one thing that I've learned through the groups, in particular Group 1, other than we enjoy a lot on the coffee, thank you very much, Alhambra, it's perfect coffee. We are next to that, you know, we have to give you a big clap for all the hospitality on the coffee and the good breaks. But I think it's more about, like, you know, everyone is here to try to break through the immediate war and all the challenges that is in front of us. And I think that is what we are bringing back. So thank you very much, and I'm sure that, you know, we're going to see 2125 in Alhambra again of the 100 versions of this amazing road. So congratulations and thank you very much.
Yeah, it's not a full statement. I just want to thank you all for the participation and being with you all. It's such an inspiration to be with so like-minded people. But my only thought when you started talking about the Mondia Cult, maybe it would be good to have the declaration done before. You could present the declaration before the Mondia Cult. That was my comment I wanted to raise. So it could be, that would be the, you know, that you hand over.
Okay. Yeah, I will ask from next week or the following, the raconteurs and coordinators for a final document regarding their topic. I'm going to put them all together and then send it back to raconteurs and coordinators for them to share it with the members of their group and then get a final feedback. But all of it within the next 3 weeks. I mean, we are now in the heat of the moment, and I think that it is time now to focus on this, because if we leave it for next month or the other, then I think that things will disappear. We will get engaged with some other things and we will forget. So now that we are in the heat of the moment, is the time just to calm down for a while, think and try to do something. I don't want this to be very big. I want it to be comprehensive of what we've said. And there is no need to be too long, for it to be too long. For that is that I am asking for no more than a sheet and a half. Yep, just in case, a sheet and a half. Double E, not with an I, double E, a sheet and a half for each group that will sum up kind of 4 or 5 sheets document. And then it will make it readable, and it will make it most of all practical. So that is what I would love to have out as an outcome of this meeting here, just to be able to gather the main ideas and the really brand new ideas that were brought to our tables to the different sessions during the different sessions of this forum, and then we will be able to share them. So I insist that the fact that doing this extra work in the next 3 weeks will be really crucial, because we will get the hint of what we have done here, and maybe it is the proper time to do so. So is there anybody else who wants to add something? Nicole?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, very briefly. First of all, starting by thanking the Alliance, thanking the Ministry of Culture and Alhambra for having us here. I did the first day explain or say that we did have this chance to do the Site Managers Forum as well as Berta internationally, but I think this experience also brings very much to the attention the importance of meeting regionally. Within the region, there's a lot of common challenges, but I think what's also important is that in this room there's 50 people, 60 people, but it's also important to bring these messages to your colleagues within your national systems. When meetings happen in person, it means everyone that's in the room is very hyped. We're all very energetic, but there are huge systems in your country of fellow site managers, people that work in your offices that also need to be able to access all this. And you have really a big duty when you go back to share everything that others have shared with you, and to share also all the experiences you learned about. I am really, really looking forward to see the presentation that you shared in other groups, to really get to learn more from you. I wish we could all be 5 of us going into all the groups and learn about everything. But also if you have colleagues, or if you yourself, your site, are under the reactive monitoring process, this is just a reminder that it's the last week to apply for the Site Managers Forum internationally. This year, because it's very, very small, we are only focusing on sites under the reactive monitoring process, which means either on the danger list or under 7B, so you've recently probably submitted a state of conservation report if you're in this process, and just please invite them to apply. For Europeans, it's as close as you can imagine, because it's in Paris this year, so it's a great opportunity also to be there. But also a reminder to all fellow Europeans in the room, we are also a very, let's say, centralized region in a way, and very easy to reach. And UNESCO, 3 advisory bodies, we're all in Europe. We are all happy to work with you. We are really very happy to see you, to stay in touch with you, and this is something that we want to foster better dialogue, and we want to foster better cooperation, starting from you sharing with us the good thing you do, the solutions. Management group, it was fantastic. Thank you for sharing solutions. It's really important to talk about things that work. It's important to talk about challenges, but it was great to hear about small things that worked and that brought improvements, and that you're proud of sharing, and that to some of you they seemed so small when you were presenting them, but they were actually big achievements. And I hope that all the other group, when you are preparing your small reports, if you can focus also on the solutions that were found and something that you can share, because as advisory bodies, we have a platform that is called the Nature Culture Community on Panorama that specifically focuses on promoting good practices in heritage management. And we really are looking for your input. This is not something that we can do. This is something we can facilitate, but it's your work and it's the work that you're doing at your sites. But thank you, everyone, for sharing all your work, because this is really the reason why we do the work. None of us is getting rich in the World Heritage sector. We're not making a lot of money. We're never going to become millionaires in this. But it's fantastic to see the passion in the room. So thank you, everyone.
Okay. So, anybody else? Yes? Ricardo? This way? Oh, okay. Just later. Oh. Then you.
Thank you. I don't know if what I'm going to ask is already considered by the organization, but for us, I think it would be very helpful to have a press release note that we could share in our countries and locally, stating, well, the logo of the forum, the number of presentations, everything that might show what happened here. For us, it would be very important to have it.
You've got all the information in the website. We don't have a press department, so we have not a press press release written. But of course, all the information about the sites and the countries, that's it, which is something public, we can share, no more. So we are very careful with this of the data management. So what I can agree is to share the names of the World Heritage Sites that have been here and also the countries they come from, and all will be published in our website. So as we don't have a press department, we don't have something written, but from there, for sure, you can get all the information of all the countries and the different representatives that have been around, okay? Regarding to that, I want to tell you as well that some photographs and images of the group have been taken in the room. So if someone in here don't want their faces to be in that photograph and want just to be rubbed or whatever when we publish them, now is the time to say it, okay? Otherwise, we understand that you agree in us publishing their photographs or whatever. It is also important to tell you that and for you to agree before we upload anything in our website.
Well, me on behalf of ICOMOS, I wanted to add a little bit to what she said. So I would like to thank Maria and the Alianza and all of you, because having the opportunity to be with World Heritage Site managers and the other advisory bodies and even the World Heritage Center in a room where we have been have given the opportunity to work so freely and to express about ourselves so freely and so easily. It's been a very nice experience, and also so I would like to thank you on behalf of ICOMOS as well, and also I would like to have the opportunity to share with the ICOMOS board and with ICOMOS and then whole network itself what we have been discussing today, because it's very important for our work and for improve our work and for improving the assessment that we can also provide to you. And with regards specifically from the Committee of Tourism, as I said, we are working in the operationalization of this charter that I presented yesterday. So I would be very happy to be able to share these conclusions too, but also to use, of course, your sites in the database of cases that we are using, and happy to have more input for the places that I've been knowing. That's great, and for others that will be interested to participate, I will be very, very happy to join you. So thank you very much again, Alhambra, Maria, technicians, everybody.
Susana over there wants to talk. Susana?
Sorry, I just wanted to ask if it would be possible to have the presentations that were given yesterday morning. The presentations...
Yeah, I've asked all the keynote speakers to share, and also I've asked them for the authorization to upload their presentations in our website. So from tomorrow, or I don't know exactly, but well, from soon on, then you will be able to have them there. For those who have given us the authorization, because there has been some situations in which, due to the type of information that they have provided us with, then they prefer not to share it online. So, of course, we are quite respectful with that, and we have asked everybody, and for those who have given us the permission, you will find it for sure there. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, Cecile.
Thank you. Thank you all. That was very fantastic, and thank you to the chair and the leaders of the management group who have been really, really great, and all the participants. Talking about sharing contacts and data in a very tangible approach, we are always looking for partners at the European level to set up European project and answer some call for proposals. And I was wondering, following with your idea of, for instance, a WhatsApp chat, if you were okay, for instance, we could also share some opportunities, and when we look for some partners, if we share the same issues, and well, I think that could be a great outcome, talking about tangible outcomes of this meeting, like to be able to find some partners to implement and develop new cooperation, for instance, at the management level.
It's a little bit difficult, you know, because the... Huh? No. You have to speak to the mic, because if not, you won't be able to...
So if it's difficult, maybe we can use the network to, the different networks.
In the European Network of World Heritage Associations. Yeah, and this is, oh my God. I am saying exactly what I am not doing. No? Okay. Yeah, Chloe was saying that we can do that within the European Network of World Heritage Associations, of course. Yes? Something else? Anybody else want to add something? Yes? I don't remember your name. Is Matthias? Matthias, yes?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Also from my side, would it be possible to get a list of the participants with their contact data? That would be great, actually.
That is exactly what we were talking about. I mean, we are going to share this within the European Network of World Heritage Associations. That is what we agreed. I asked specifically that. If you agree with us sharing with the representatives, so you can address the representatives of your country, and then you will be given the information. But we cannot do that worldwide. No, it is not possible. Yeah, of course you can exchange your visit cards or whatever. That is at your level, but otherwise...
Maria, may I just add something? I think that most of our telephone numbers and contacts are official, so most of. So maybe we can do it in our own, and just create such a chart at first. Okay. Just it could work like a GPT chart that you not only keep it that part, but also giving very short questions and rapid answers. This is one thing. Another idea, as extension of this also slide, is to making maybe one place. I don't know if it's a platform on Google Drive or whatever, on which we could put our materials, not only presentations that have been shown during this meeting, but also, I don't know, guidelines. I know that too much guidelines is overwhelming and destructive, what also my group noticed, but sometimes it may be helpful. Because many of us got many documents that should be useful in some way, but we need a place. We need a place, some space to put it. I don't know.
What do you think about that? Because I am thinking about a Google Drive, for example. Yeah, but how big is that? 20 gigas? 20 gigas? You know, if 60 of us start putting some documents up there, it will end up in the first week, I'm sure. We can just think about that. Let us think about that. Of course, the possibility of sharing telephone numbers, it's as you will, I mean, or sharing cards, or creating a WhatsApp group, provided that you agree with it. I mean, what I cannot do, what we as representatives of the European associations cannot do, is share freely all your contact data. We cannot do that. We are not entitled to do that. But if you decide personally to create a WhatsApp group and you want to share your phone number with the rest, of course you can. I mean, it's not our responsibility. I'm just talking about what our responsibility is as organizers of this forum. Anything that you want to do apart from that, of course you are entitled. But I was talking about our own responsibility, and we don't want to well, I don't know, the word doesn't come to me now. It's like we don't overstep on our responsibilities. We don't want to overstep on what we are entitled to do or not. So whatever you wish, of course, can be done within you privately, but not within the responsibility of the data that you shared with us. I think that it is clear, and you may understand what I'm saying.
Maria?
Anything else? Yes?
Yes, I have the microphone here.
Oh, okay, sorry, Juliana. I didn't find you.
First, thank you very much for these 2 days and also tomorrow. It was also to Alhambra. It was a fantastic opportunity to share with each other and to build on what we many times have reflected on alone or within our own networks. Now we are also at the European level. I think this is actually very important, following Nicole's scene reflection. About contact sharing, and I will not go further into this, but we are not here, most of us are professionally represented here, and our professional contacts are public. They are all exposed in the internet, in whatever website we are in our own institutions. So I don't think the regulation on GDP applies because the contacts are already public. But this is something that you have to check. But we are representatives of our professional roles here, so it's.
It doesn't mean that everybody wants to share their
public
emails or
of course,
but they profession. I mean, or what position they are in which side. I mean.
Yes, but this is something different that the application of the legislation, because the contacts are mostly already public. So this is it's just a comment that and I am not expert on the legislation.
I just want you to understand our position. I mean, the position shared by the representatives of the network. For sure, you can do whatever you want within your private will. Exactly. But regarding what we are entitled to do as organizers,
and in regards to the WhatsApp groups, we have WhatsApp groups for the World Heritage Site Managers Forum. We have WhatsApp group for the training international training courses on impact assessments. So we have all these WhatsApp groups. Yes. So one more group. It's not detrimental. It's not, and it's of course voluntary to share good opportunities. And there is always people trying to find each other, and it's a good channel to do this. Thank you very much for these 2 days, for the wonderful environment that you created here, and we are going to come back in 100 years.
That's good. So, someone else want to add something? No. Nope. Bueno, pues ahora voy a cambiar a español, porque ahora me toca a mí dar las gracias.
Then I'm going to switch to Spanish, because it's me now who's going to thank you. And I'm going to do it in Spanish, because I want to use my own language. And I would like to express myself properly to close this forum, this very special forum. We have needed a lot of effort from many people to get here, and in many cases sometimes you have focused all the success of this forum in my person, but that's not the case, because everything that happened here during these 2 days is the result of the work of a team of many people, and of a lot of enthusiasm by these people. So we have had people who really had this will to create this space for these site managers from Europe to find this place where they could meet for the first time and to share experiences and to create bonds between you all. This initiative was born in Riyadh a couple of years ago, when 2 colleagues from Italy and France in particular came to us with this idea: why don't we hold a European forum of World Heritage Site managers? And then I thought, we could do it here in Spain, why not? So we're going to start in Spain. At the time, I got in touch with the Ministry of Culture. People from the ministry have always supported this kind of initiatives, and they were willing to help us, and they were very ready to help us also financially, not only with their participation and their work, but also with funds. And as this proposal was very well received by the Ministry of Culture and also by the European colleagues, the next step was to find a perfect spot, the perfect place to hold this meeting. And this place is perfect, not only because of the heritage around, but also because of the generosity of the people who manage this place, and the willingness to fund this forum as well. And with all those ingredients, and with the support of the Alliance of Cultural Landscapes, of the board, the partners of this alliance, their help has been crucial. And with all those ingredients, we started cooking. And I think we cooked something very savory, something tasty, as we say here in Spain. And we made a lot of work, a lot of efforts, and we put together all the know-how of many different professional profiles of World Heritage. Really passionate people who wanted to add their passion as an ingredient to this first forum. I'm talking here about Chloe, Carlo, Chris, Einar. I'm talking here about Tatiana. So please, a huge round of applause for them. Thank you. Thank you. You are essential to this forum. You are great. You are amazing. Not only they helped us creating this scientific committee and started to think about the topics and everything, and also the development of those sessions and all that. But besides all that, besides giving content to the forum, they have also improved the forum. They have enhanced the content, but also Felia. Please, a round of applause for Felia, Nicole, and huge contributions from all of them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to the raconteurs, Anna, Marta, who helped us a lot, Chema, Laura. Without you, there's no forum, right? So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so, so much. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for working so hard. Thank you for being so passionate. And of course, thank you to the Alhambra team. Thank you to the hostess, to the interpreter. Thank you to Juan Salvador, who's not here anymore, but who has helped us a lot. Maria Jose. I have to say all your names, Billy, Loreto, Conchi. I don't remember your name, but you as well. All of you have contributed to make this possible. So thank you for thinking about me when you think about how successful this forum is. But behind me, there's all these people, or without these people, I can't do anything, right? So it's fair that I mention them today. Thank you for being here. It has been a huge pleasure to be your host here these 2 days, and we really hope we will have more occasions to repeat. Thank you. Thanks to the interpreter. Sometimes we're wearing headsets, but she's been translating all the time. Thank you. And that being said, I'm going to be a little bit bossy again. I'm going to get bossy. I know, I'm a little bit bossy, but not that much, right? Excuse me, because these days sometimes I've had to be a little bit, the one who's getting serious, who's making you move, who's like rushing you. So sorry about that, but do you all have your yellow cards with you? Yes? Perfect. So I managed to make you all wear it, right? Or carry it. Okay, so some housekeeping information, right? There's still some activities to enjoy. So for the dinner tonight, we have some free time now. But I believe dinner is at 8:15, right? 8:15 in the Palacio de los Córdoba. You have the address on Google Map on the website of the forum, right? So you can go spend some time at the hotel or take a walk, but you have to be at the Palacio de los Córdoba at 8:15 for a cocktail dinner and a flamenco show as well. And tomorrow, I'm going to ask you that all of you who are going to the visit of the Alhambra, first of all, to get to know a little bit more, because yesterday we only saw the palaces and there's much more to see. So, and then also to get to know a little bit more the city of Granada. And I beg you, you have to be at 9:15 in the door of this palace, Charles V Palace. At the same meeting point you have on the website. So at the door of Charles V Palace, 9:15 we start the visit. You're going to have also audio guides, and then we will visit a little bit the city. We have to walk all the time, obviously, so it's a long walk. I suggest you wear comfortable shoes, right? Trainers or something comfy. Because I think this is going to be very good weather, maybe a little bit hot, so be ready for that. Be ready for that so you can enjoy the day properly. Some of you are leaving today. I wish you a very good trip, a very good journey back home, a safe trip, and I'm hoping we will meet again. Thank you so much.